Forgetting Sarah Marshall is one of the best comedies I've seen in a really, really long time. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think the words an Apatow production are usually a good sign for a movie. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is full of laughs and sharp performances from a cast of fantastic comedians. I think there's a perfect mix of romance and raunchy comedy to make this one of the best comedies in the last 10 years. Jason Segel, in my mind, is one of the best comedians of the decade. You know, from Freaks and Geeks 15 years ago, to the Muppets. He's been wonderful in all of them. Jonah Hill, Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, Russell Brand, and Paul Rudd, all really help make up fantastic cast full of hilarious characters. There's several memorable scenes that are filled with sparkling one-liners. Jonah Hill and Paul Rudd are especially hilarious as side characters and are some of their most simple yet fantastic roles of their careers. Jonah works at a hotel restaurant and should probably spend less time dealing and more time on his mixtape. Paul Rudd's character is a surf instructor who is really into the Hawaiian scene. This movie is not all laughs, though. The story and plot make this movie way more than a comedy. It's a lot like Knocked Up in that way. There's also some depth. And, there's some foreshadowing from a Dracula musical. Dracula musical. So you probably don't understand that now, but go ahead and watch the movie so you know what I'm talking about. Peter has spent the last 6 years with his girlfriend and movie star Sarah Marshall and is constantly in her shadow. His whole world is flipped upside down when she decides to suddenly dump him. He eventually decides to take a vacation to Hawaii and is then confronted by his worst nightmare. Sarah Marshall is also there with another guy who happens to be a British rock star. As he is being tormented with the reality of Sarah's new life, he begins a flirtation with a resort employee named Rachel. Her carefree approach helps Peter return to the real world. Jordan says, Dracula musical equals success.